Greetings, everybody. This is Ilona, your host, and I hope today you woke up with a great dreams. I always start with that statement because I really believe that our dreams, they motivate us. They make us hungry to wake up every single day. And I want you to protect this inner voice, inner child that you know you're meant to be. So still following your dreams, because result and the feeling of it is just amazing, irreplaceable. And we have in front of us the special guest that is going to talk more about that. The Todd Kuckkahn, he's a global speaker. He's also influencer. He's a leadership coach, and he's educator as well. So hi, Todd. We are so happy and privileged to have you today. How are you?
Well, thank you so much. It's great to see your face again. It's been a couple of weeks, but I'm looking forward to. I was taking notes while you were talking at the beginning about dreams and inner voice. Great topics.
Yes, we have to start. And we met with each other on a global conference where you spoke about leadership. And leadership right now is in minority. Sometimes people misuse this statement. Sometimes people misuse this title. I am a leader, and they think that leaders are dictators. There's a big difference between boss and a leader. Can you please elaborate a little bit about more what's the difference between boss and a leader and dictator, let's say?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, leaders, those in leadership, those who are leaders really think about others. I think that's the main focus of a quality leader. Not only developing yourself, which is important and critical as a leader, but also developing others. When you're a boss, you're thinking more about titles and things and productivity. While productivity is important, it's kind of a negative side with a boss. You're dictating, use the term dictator, you're dictating to people what they want or what they need to do, what they have to do, rather than bringing them along and helping them grow, become better people, become stronger through their faith, through their work ethic, through all those things. A dictator, I would say, would be the worst of the three, where you just have absolutely no control in your life. But leadership, what I like to think about, is really about others, that kind of servant leadership mentality.
And that's what, like our next conference is going to be servant leadership mentality, because it's a great concept where people think, like leader thinks about how he can help others to elevate to the next level. So there's a lot of books that are written that talk about quality of the leaders, are amplifying what the leaders should be. But I want to talk right now with you what leaders should not be.
I think leaders have those attributes where they're focusing on themselves too much. A good leader is going to focus on growing themselves, but a bad leader is going to focus on themselves and be very egotistic, very much I-centered rather than we-centered. They're, bad leaders really give no direction. You talked about vision at the beginning of this recording, and it's dreams, helping people achieve their dreams. When I would do annual evaluations with people, when I was a leader in my organization, I would ask them, where do you want to be in 5 years, and how can I help you get there? That's really what it's about. It's uplifting everybody. The old saying, something like, all boats rise in the high tide, right? We want to lift all boats. We want to lift all people. Bad leaders are focused on themselves. They're going to run over people. They're going to trample people. They're going to focus on their specific needs and not really the wants and needs of other people in their lives.
So do you think that the boss can become a leader? Is there a good bridge to, shape them into the leader? Because bosses are just about titles and leaders are all about the people. Is there hope for bosses?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes bosses haven't been given the opportunity to develop by the people who are their bosses, right? So sometimes people hold people back by not allowing them to do things, but there's a lot of different things. What really got me started down the leadership road was starting to read leadership books. And one of the first leadership books I read where I was really focused on my leadership and my personal growth was John Maxwell's book called Intentional Living. And that really opened my eyes up to a whole new world. And I had been a leader at different points in my career, probably been a boss too, unfortunately, but been a leader, but I really hadn't focused on the whole topic of leadership. And I read John's book. I talked to other people I knew who were leaders in my community, in my area. And actually they suggested I go to a John Maxwell leadership conference, which I did. And that was about 5 years ago. And from there, it's been awesome. But it's surrounding yourself. Who's in your inner circle? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you filling your brain with? Are you filling your brain with good books like Maxwell and Simon Sinek and Patrick Lencioni and Brene Brown, so many other leaders that are out there. What are you pouring into yourself so you can help the next person be a better leader as well as yourself?
I know there's lots of books out there. There's lots of advice everywhere. So sometimes it's a quick fix of the very short videos out there. But what are the actually good, successful habits, or just the habits of the great leaders? Because every person, it's a habits, it's the choices. So what do the leaders do on a daily basis that makes them a leader, or that makes them better leader?
Yeah, I think you hit the right word, is habits. Creating those things in your life that you do repetitively. So when I get up in the morning, I do some work in the Bible to start with, do some readings and some prayer, and in that arena to really get my mind centered on the right thing. Then I start thinking about what's my day going to bring towards me. Another thing I do first thing in the morning is I read all the time. When I get on the treadmill, I usually read while I'm on the treadmill, so I get some good exercise and I get some good reading done too. So I create those habits. And I have similar habits at the end of the day, right? So I always begin and end my day almost exactly the same. And it's high quality. And then that makes it so much easier to fill in the rest of my day and have the correct attitude, the right emotions, the right thoughts, the right beliefs, the right activities to help me grow, and then in turn to help others grow.
Who is your role model in your life that you are looking after and you say, hey, I want to be closer to what he is?
Well, I'd have to go back to John Maxwell. I think he's somebody that he really is one of those, if you look at different levels of leadership, a level 5 leader, it's not only him, it's not only his organization, but he's really bigger than his industry. He has impacted thousands of people across the world. And there are many other, obviously, leaders like that, but he's somebody that I've always looked up to. And he also has a strong faith. And with his faith, he doesn't, like shove it down people's throats. Sometimes people can be overbearing in that regard, but just a very thoughtful person. He writes about how faith is really a cornerstone of what he does in his life and makes him who he is. So he's someone I really look up to. There's also some other people that are closer to me. I mean, John Maxwell, I don't have a friendship with, but I really look up to him as the type of person I'd like to be. But I have a inner circle of a handful of people that I really look to because of the way they're thoughtful and really think so much about others.
And I know sometimes when, as we grow as leaders, we sometimes get so inspired. Sometimes we so wrapped up with our successes. We're so fired up. But what are some of the dangers of the leaders that we have to be a little bit careful about?
I think it's important to celebrate, but I think you want to make sure you do that appropriately. Or if you accomplish something great, you do that appropriately. I had yesterday, as a matter of fact, I had a group, an organization contact me to speak at their national convention next March already, which is quite an honor. But that's one thing, that's one piece of my puzzle, one piece of the things that I like to do. So I get excited about it, but I also kind of keep things under control. It is so important. I think we've really lost the ability to celebrate in our lives. We hear so much negativity out there that we don't take time to honor and celebrate the things that we accomplish and the things that other people accomplish. And I think that's important to do. You just don't want to overdo that sort of thing where you become, it's okay to be assertive, but you don't want to be arrogant, I think would be maybe the differentiating piece there.
No, that's great, because I know that's sometimes when we think that we already achieved what we wanted to achieve, and I think that's the danger zone, and we kind of get relaxed and we just stay still without educating ourselves, because there's always something there that we can learn from. And what would be your powerful quotes that you cling on every time you want to fall down, or every time that you, for example, have a bad day? What is that quote that motivates you and lifts you up?
The one that there's several, but the one I've been kind of focusing on lately is, it's our decisions, not our conditions, that determine our destiny. So, too bad, so sad if something bad happens, just make a better decision the next time. It's not our conditions. It's not it's not where we live. It's not our socioeconomic status. We can look at you. You're such a great example of overcoming challenges in your life, enormous challenges in your life. and you made good decisions and you kept moving forward, and now you're impacting so many yourself around the world. And that's what I try to do every day. Just make the right decisions. Bad things will happen. We can learn from our fails and just make sure that we're making the right decisions.
Amen to this. And the word decide, has a, like if you translate that, it's a D means do and side means to kill. So the word decide or decision is a do or die moment. So every time we make a decision, it's actually honestly does impact us tomorrow. So every decision that every leader makes today may impact for years to come. It may make him bankrupt, or he can lose his company, like everything, including what we eat. Decision that what we eat today gonna impact us in a year to come. So if we starve our body with all of the toxic, food with the grease, in 1 year we may see the effect of it. So yeah, decisions are very powerful. We do it every single day. Do I decide to get up and go to work? What gas do I put in my car? So it's lots of responsibilities on our shoulders. Like sometimes in your life where you would look at the people and you get so frustrated, and as a leader, so what decisions you would make?
Well, the frustrating part is when you see those people who do act like bosses, or who do act the way they, because of their title, and they may cooperate, but they don't collaborate. It's great. You can talk the game about, I'm a team player, I want to work together, blah, blah, blah. But until you actually roll up your sleeves and put your nose to it and say, hey, I'm going to work with these people, I'm going to take my responsibility with this project, and others will take theirs, and really get something done, rather than just trying to push everything off on others. I always start from a point of trust with people. I will trust someone until they prove me wrong. And I kind of look, that part of the positive attitude that I deal with. But I can see through people pretty quickly. I've been around enough people now in my life that I can kind of tell when they're in it for them rather than for others.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. And I know it's very frustrating, like you said, you said it right. We start with the point of the trust unless they prove it wrong, and then you're done. And it's also learning point. And it doesn't mean that you cannot forgive the person, but forgiveness doesn't mean to go back to the same situation. It pretty much means, thank you, I've learned my lesson. It made me stronger. Now it's time to move on. And that's it. Is something that you would ask, or you would challenge our speakers right now, or our listeners with, if they want to become leaders? Where would they start?
Well, I think the first thing is to take that first step, right? Take that first step. Whatever you've been holding back on wanting to do as a leader, take the risk. So back in November, I took the risk. I stopped working at my full-time job, and I went full-time into my coaching business and my training, speaking business. So I took a leap of faith, or I took a risk late in my life, but I really wanted to do it. I wanted to try the solopreneur. I love leadership. I love this conversation we're having. I love trying to help people. So really just take that first step, reach out to somebody. There's be careful who you reach out to, but I think the young lady on the other side of this microphone screen here would be one person to start with, to reach out to. Or reach out to one of us and say, hey, what should I do? What can I do? Because it's different for everybody. I think reading is always a safe way to start, right? You have to be careful sometimes who you reach out to in the world, right? In terms of leadership, and there's a lot of wannabes out there, but try to find that right person in your community that can help you, that you can lean on, that you can rely on.
Yes, I absolutely right. Always reach out to the qualified people. Ask the question with the qualified people. Do not ask your mechanic to do your taxes, or your aunt to teach you how to play basketball and such. So you absolutely hit it to the home run. Sometimes we reach out just for sake of reaching out, and we forget that. And that's why when we receive the answers, it doesn't work, because we don't ask the right question to the right people who can help us, actually. So that is something that we avoid, but I'm glad you brought it up, Todd, that yes, reach out to the right people. Not every person has the answer that you need in your life so you can grow. But yeah, make a first step. Make a first step. It probably will be hard. Probably you'll be standing on the crunches, but let the right person to guide you and support you to stand and make this first step. So Todd, I want you to look at the one person right now. Take a minute and speak to the person who is maybe young and doubts in himself. can I be or should I be a leader? What would you tell him right now?
Well, I think anybody can be a leader. I think people can grow in that position. And I think, if I flip my camera around here and showed you my bookshelf, I've got lots of books that I've read. I've surrounded myself with people who have the right attitude in leadership. And when I came out of college, I didn't know what direction I was going. I barely knew how to tie my shoes coming out of college. But again, I found those people that I knew I could trust and that I could reach out to. I started in education and teaching. So the people that were in my same department, I relied on some of those people. But you have to take some effort and reach out with people. And don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to, go on our LinkedIn pages and ask for a connection request. I love talking to people, no matter, if they're 18 or 80 about the topic. And I think there's a lot of people out there, but you have to, again, that first step thing, you kind of have to do. If you're in a college or a university, a lot of colleges and universities have programs in the leadership arena, or know people who maybe are in that arena. Go to John Maxwell's website, right? And maybe there's some things on there you can search out. You got to do some research, but you got to take that first step and then develop that inner circle, that group of 5 people around you that can really help you and advise you and support you. And that'll change through your life as you grow and develop yourself. But surround yourself with the right people, put the right information into you, and have that positive attitude. I think those are some good first steps.
I love what you said, change your inner circle or build your inner circle with people of 5, no more than that will make you for where you want to achieve and where you want to go. Nobody said it's going to be easy, but if you have a grind and determination, you have to fight for it. You have to do what it takes to, yes, you will make mistakes. Nobody's exempt from it, right? But that's how we learn. We either repeat mistakes or we learn from it.
Being a history teacher, I totally respect that. And one author, Angela Duckworth, wrote a book called Grit, and she defines grit as where passion and perseverance intersect. And if you have the passion to be a leader and the perseverance, the consistency, you can become a leader.
Yes, absolutely. So there's no such a thing as perfect leader, because perfection is not a standard. It's just the excuse not to become and develop ourselves into the person that is better tomorrow than today. But it's a great way to start. So Todd, we want to thank you for being with us today, that imparting your wisdom with all of us, with our audience, about leadership and the meaning of the leadership and what the difference between leader and a boss, and how you can inspire the next generation to become a next leaders that we all need to make a wise decision, smart decision, godly decisions that will come and will bring the great effect and the results for the next generation to enjoy. So it does take a determination and hunger, hard work to become and achieve where you want to achieve, guys. So don't give up your hopes. Just because it didn't happen today doesn't mean that you have to stop. No, just simply means next. And if there is no wall in a door, or there is no door in a wall, what stops you to build one?
Exactly. Make one yourself, climb over, run through it, climb around it.
Do it. Do it. That will be your next leadership style that you're going to be impart. Nobody says it's gonna be overnight. It's not the Amazon Prime. Dreams don't happen overnight. You cannot become a leader overnight. So you can develop and shape yourself as one. So guys, please reach out to Todd if you want to hire him, find him, connect with him. His information will be down below, so look it up and get him on your shows, get him to speak, and get him to share his wisdom with you today. So that was Ilona from the Ilona TV, and we will see you next time. Until then, I want you to be happy and blessed.